Across Denendeh, APTN brought you stories of trials and triumphs, including on-the-land programming, which promoted physical and spiritual well-being through traditional practices and teachings.
I think being on the land is one of the best things that you can do for people to get out and reconnect with nature.
In politics, longtime Liberal MP Michael McLeod passed the torch to former Yellowknife City Mayor Rebecca Alty, who not only won the NWT riding, but was named Canada's newest Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations. Highlighting northern connections, APTN's Dennis Ward spoke with Prime Minister Mark Carney while he returned to his early beginnings in Thabatcha, Fort Smith.
You have 2 nations or so that are supportive of it, but you have about 7 or 9 that are around there now that have filed legal challenges against this legislation.
In health, many Indigenous families in remote communities still had to leave their homes to deliver babies. But this year, the Deitcho First Nations responded to a lack of resources by hosting workshops to empower and revive cultural practices around birthing.
It would be amazing to not have to leave home and have somebody here that could deliver babies, or even a midwife. The whole midwife workshop was amazing to listen into.
Across the NWT, the ramifications from a steadily growing and sometimes fatal drug crisis dominated the news cycle. In May, Dene leaders called an emergency meeting on the topic.
And money talks for a lot of people, and especially when the drug dealers, they know that, and they want to have control and to use our people.
And by the fall, communities took matters into their own hands. The Katlodeche First Nation, who banned more than a dozen individuals from coming onto the reserve. And Delenegotne government and Fort Good Hope Band, who took hired sniffer dogs to search cargo and passenger planes for substances and dangerous goods on planes bound from Yellowknife into the Saw-2.
We wanted to act, and I think this was like the first step that we found that would be impactful.
The NWT saw only 2 communities evacuated from wildfire, a somewhat reprieve from years past. Enjoying the slightly less smoky summer, APTN looked at food security by touring the North Slave Métis Alliance's community garden.
We have a cultural gathering place at Old Fort Ray, and there are signs of people planting things that have stood the test of time.
In August, 7 unmarked burials were found at the site of the St. Joseph's Indian Residential School, operated by the Catholic Church in Fort Resolution. Investigation began in 2022, with Denenequay First Nation hiring an archaeology team after inquiries of the fate of 75 children who attended there were raised. In mining news, co-run by the feds and territorial government, the giant mine remediation project in Yellowknife saw the near completion of a water treatment plant to handle arsenic-contaminated water from the mine's underground workings, as well as a 10-year economic benefits agreement for the Quincho government for training.
The mining industry could work in our favor.
And in light of economic challenges for the NWT diamond sector, Indigenous leaders emphasized the need for partnerships in all up-and-coming infrastructure and resource projects.
We gotta come to an understanding and an agreement on lands and resources and governance. That's the foundation, so we can move forward together.
In October, an Auditor General gave a failing grade to the governing body for housing in the NWT, citing they had been unsuccessful in fixing the housing crisis. The territorial government accepted all findings and recommendations, and there was some wins, including upgrading housing stock in various regions and successfully contracting transitional housing and shelter programs.
But I don't have a house in my own hometown.
Rounding out 2025, APTN learned about how those with lived experience will guide the work being done by Indigenous NGOs in 2026.
Can learn how to build our own homes again. We will need to know how to use the heating system, the energy system, the water system, how to take care of that home, because we've built it. And because we've built it, we have pride.
Charlotte Morritt-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.